Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to the Ashes of Creation discussion round, the longest running podcast for Ashes of Creation. And we just came back. We pushed the podcast by a week because we wanted to talk about the director's letter. So I think that's what we're going to start with today, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, anybody got anything they want to jump right in with the letter?
It had a lot of, it has info in it. Not in great detail. I don't know. Like, it has info in it that's interesting to people.
Okay, wait. Let me do this first. Was this a good letter for you or a bad letter?
For me,
For you
I'd probably
personally,
say it was a okay letter. Like it's a letter. It's an okay letter. It's not like anything I'm overly hyped about. Like I wasn't. It didn't super excite me. But I already own a pad. I'm already an alpha tester. And well, like, so the big things in the letter are you would get an idea of what the next kind of testing is, like with siege testing, and I think, and then Alpha 1 sales coming back.
all right. Staggerson, what about you?
I think I'm pretty much same boat as Oni. Yeah, I guess the only news that really popped out that affects me is like the fact that we get siege testing. Also, is kind of informative.
All right, Faisal, what about you?
It feels It feels like there's progress, though. I guess it's like one of those things. There's not a lot of info, but it feels like a good letter. I want to say that.
All right, Faisal, what about you?
I do agree with Stackerson. I think it's a good letter because it addresses everybody, from the people that are in the NDA and people that are outside of the NDA that have blind eyes and don't really like whoever reads this basically.
Which is the purpose of the letter.
Exactly. Which I think, I mean, it addresses everything from what the people were testing, and they said, and Steven did say that they ran through optimization issues and they're fixing it. He said he wanted to do siege if possible. At the very end of it, there's also the studio updates, which is a good thing since COVID happened. It's kind of hard for them to do anything at this point. And yeah, very much, I think it's just a good letter. It's simple.
No, I'm pretty much on the same boat. I mean, it wasn't like a letter where I say, "Wow, this is blowing me out of the water." That would be a lie if I would say that. It's not a bad letter. It's not a fluff piece. It's definitely not a fluff piece. I'm gonna agree with Staggerson. Like the most interesting part for me was the siege stuff from Apocalypse.
See, that's why. So people have been wondering if it's it's Apocalypse testing, Apocalypse Siege, or if it's, because I've played the Apocalypse Siege test, or if it's actual like in the Alpha 1 world siege testing.
I think he was just trying to draw the connection that they're using the mechanics they tested in the Castle Siege, or developed for Castle Sieges in APOC. And they're bringing those mechanics over.
Yeah.
Combat mechanics, I assume, are still going to be the tab you.
Yeah, it's not gonna be one-on-one copy of.
I'm not saying some people are actually wondering if, like, the question of if Apocalypse is going to come back has been a question for a while now, and I've seen
why is that a question?
Well, they've never said it wasn't going to come back. So the fact they said that it's a good possibility it may come back. Eventually, not now, but eventually.
Yeah, eventually after release. Like, can you imagine them bringing back APOC between now and release?
And then I've seen some people ask if they're gonna make the siege testing at the end of the Alpha 1 test open testing.
No open
for, like-
testing. No.
Yeah, no.
That's
But
dumb. That's so
it's a
dumb.
question I've seen people ask.
That's dumb. Just read up on the stuff, and you don't have to ask stuff like that. But no, what I wanted to say was, I agree with Staggerson. Like the siege testing for me is like some of the most interesting, like the most interesting thing in the letter. And the second thing was they're moving into the studio between now and June 15th, I believe.
Yes.
Because
that was another thing.
it's I don't know if any of you, I think Staggerson, you I think you know how it is, how to work from home and how to work in an office or in a developing office. There's a huge difference, especially when it comes to the creative department. If you work from home or if you're working right next to somebody. Like if you are an artist, it's always way easier to throw ideas back and forth and get feedback instead of just working from home. It's something that I like lived through over the course of the current crisis, and I have to say, working from an office when it comes to the creative process or even the developing process sometimes has its benefits than working from home. While I would say if you work in marketing, it doesn't really matter. You can work from, I don't know, anywhere.
Oh,
Oh, Staggerson left us.
I don't know. It was weird. So
Mhm.
my camera was updating, but you guys weren't updating for me on Discord. So I was like, I couldn't hear. I had to unmute.
I was saying working from an office is more productive when it comes to the creative process, and also when it comes to developing and programming, all that stuff. And I know you work in IT as well, so would you
Depends on
agree?
how you are. I've gotten pretty used to it, and it's almost nicer. I mean, you have to be careful, but it's almost nicer to just be able to work from home and driving. I mean, especially in LA. I mean, they drive like an hour into the office.
Yeah,
I
that must
hate
suck.
now driving into the office. I'm like, why do I waste my time? I could be doing work all this time I'm spending driving.
we've been trying to do they've been trying to do a studio move for a long time now, and then when they finally get the office and they're ready to move in, COVID happens and they can't. Like I'm fairly sure Steven's just finally ready to step foot in the fucking office.
Yeah, I mean, if they get all vaccinated, I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm fine. Like,
Okay, was there anything in the letter that you guys didn't like?
no, there's nothing I didn't like. It starts off talking about the pushbacks and stuff like that. Then it goes into moves, and then the moving, and then their schedules and then mine gets the development stuff, like the interesting things like next alpha testing, the siege modes, switching from the engine update from Unreal Engine 4.2.5 to 4.2.6 or 2.6.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Staggerson, do you know how much of a difference that is? The versions?
No, I'm not that familiar with Unreal, so it's one of
Alright.
those things that could be an easy switch. It's one of those things that could be a complete pain in the butt.
Alright. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about regarding the letter? Because honestly, even though for me personally, this is just me talking now, it wasn't the greatest letter. It was a nice read. It was a step forward.
So the bits and pieces that are interesting to us, the bits and pieces that are like the topic points of siege mode and bringing back the alpha. So like we've talked about bringing back the alpha for a long time now, and it's finally getting like an actual date. Like it's actually like said like, hey, this is happening next month. And then the siege stuff is only mentioned briefly. Like there's not a whole hell of a lot to talk. I mean, we could talk about it if you want, but I don't know how much there's there to talk about. Like the stuff that's interesting to us is we've either already talked to death or it's mentioned briefly here. So
I like the images, especially the dwarven ones. I got a real Lord of the Rings vibe.
We can move on.
Okay, so actually, I just pulled up. I think this is all the 4.26 stuff. Release notes. Apparently, there's some major features with hair, fur, and feathers.
Oh.
Which that would probably be cool. I am just kind of looking at pictures, though.
Right. No, I have to say I really dig the dwarven image because it made me rewatch The Hobbit.
Oh, from the letter.
Yeah, from the letter, the dwarf image. If we get this in game, like a zone like this, if this is like the Underrealm or whatever, or something, or a raid instance or something like that looks like this, I'd be super freaking happy. And you know what I noticed? I feel like the dwarves in that image. Like if you look at the dwarves in that image, I mean, not the dwarves, there are no dwarves, the dwarf statues, right? They look different to the dwarves that we have seen so far, which gives me hope for the dwarves.
These are Dunes and Kale dwarves, and those are the parent race of the Dunir, which are your stereotypical dwarves, and the Nakua, which are the Samoan dwarves. So like every time someone else is dwarf, they only ever talk about the Dunir when they say dwarves. They don't even they either completely forget about the Nakua, or they have to like very specifically diverge. Like when someone says dwarf in the forums and Discord, chances are they're talking about Dunir or their parent race, the Dunes and Kale. Right here, what you're looking at in these images is most likely Dunes and Kale stuff.
I'm just saying, maybe, we're gonna get a little bit more bulkier dwarves. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm just hoping.
The dwarves were getting fairly bulky.
Reckless got it right. Nakua smoke weed, pretty much.
All right.
Seaweed, that is.
All right, moving on. What's the next topic? I want to talk about
Next
the
topic?
mount. I want to talk about the mount.
Yo, you want to talk about the leaked mount?
I want to talk about the leaked
We
mount.
talk about that. So Steven recently, Steven's been on Twitter. Steven got his own personal Twitter lately, and he's been talking on it a lot and posting stuff. And like recently, he leaked an image that we're going to talk about, and that was the animal husbandry lizard mount.
Because the reason I want to talk about this, because this should shut people up in regards to cosmetics. So, because Steven said that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, which I don't think I am, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Steven said that the game will have the better cosmetics will be found in game compared to the cosmetic packs that we can currently purchase. This, or just like the look of in-game items, will be better than what we can currently purchase. I think that for me is just proof enough. Because for me, that looks way better than the scale run you get in one of the packs.
It's just a concept art. But yeah, I agree. I like it.
That looks like a render.
That's a render. That's a fucking render. That's not a fucking concept art. That's a fucking render.
Yeah.
All right, that's a render. Okay, I agree. It definitely looks better.
It looks way better.
I like it better than I like the scale
Wait,
runner.
let me find the other one.
The scale runner. Yeah, I like it better than I like the scale runner. That's pretty much all I can say about it. It's a side profile though, so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I get excited to see because it gives me like more and more hope for what the Tolnar will eventually be. So I thought it's really awesome, and on top of that, it's like if this is what they're doing for like a lizard mount, I can't wait to see what they do for like the lizard races and stuff.
All right, so let me just do a thing.
I mean, I was already happy with the scale runner, and then
so
this is just like
this is the scale runner that we have seen in the past, right? Right. So this is scale runner we have seen in the past, and this is what we have now. The one we see now, the new one, has way more detail and everything else, and the other one is rather plain looking.
I wonder if that frill on the neck is just like one of those lizard frills you see, or if it's gonna pop out like the how the scale runner's little head fins do. And are those feathers on? Are those feathers behind the?
Behind
Does
the
it have
one,
some feathers on the head?
no,
I
No,
don't
those are
know.
not feathers.
I think it's supposed to be like fins.
yeah,
I know, but I think I see like a couple black feathers behind the
there are no
behind the
feathers.
head.
I'm looking at it right now. There are no feathers. There are scales. There are like horns
And fins.
and exactly
Although
Yeah.
the fins kind of look
a little bit.
little, just because they're like they have so many like I don't know what you call those ribs. I'm not sure
Ribs?
that's something.
No, like
Just
but
instead of there being like a few like ribs and then like the membrane going between it, it looks like there's just the whole fin is made out of like the ribs that you usually see a fin made out of.
no, the point that I
Which
think
there's a lot of fish that are like that too.
I think the point that it just makes is that even though Ash of Creation is gonna have a cosmetic shop, which is gonna be one of the core incomes for the game, which will be the cosmetic shop, you will still be able to get way better cosmetics in game. So
Yeah.
that kind of like proves a point to anybody that said that the cosmetic shop should go. There's no need for it to go. It's an option now. Because now that I know that this is in game, I might really consider not buying any more cosmetics.
I mean, buy it if you want.
No, I'm just saying.
Speaking of cosmetics,
Good
I mean, do we
segue.
have any final thoughts on this? I feel like we've spoken.
I
Yeah.
kind of shot myself in the foot with that one.
Speaking of
Okay,
cosmetics,
okay. We can
cosmetics.
talk about the cosmetics. Okay, cosmetics. Okay, cosmetics. Let me get my costume. All right, hold on. Cosmetics. God.
April Cosmetics
God damn.
from the Undergrowth. We have two like so. Me and Stackerson are just joking about this, but like we do have two conflicting like sides to it. I think Faisal might have his own different opinion entirely, but some of us like them, some of us
No,
don't
Faisal,
like them.
you need my opinion. You need to take my opinion, Faisal.
We'll see what your opinion is first.
Yeah. We have it up.
I'm going first. I'm not going first.
Who wants to go first?
Alright. This is I kind of want to say it's the thing I didn't know I needed kind of situation where I just really like. I mean, I guess the toad and the carriage thing that's really cool, but in the house, but like that outfit, I just love, and I don't know why. Well, okay, no, I know why. I really like. So you got the kind of like the Ronin look, but it's like the mushroom Ronin. And then they have like that trench coat, like tail effect to the armor, where in the back, um, it's one of those things I kind of want to see the render because I want to see how some of these materials end up, like the shoulder materials. But I don't know. I really like it. The mushroom Ronin.
Overall, I'd say I like. I actually do like this pack. Yeah, I joke about it a lot, but I actually do like this pack. I don't understand the top hat whatsoever. What or like it? I don't think it like fit. It's okay. It's definitely got that Mad Hatter like
It feels
Alice in Wonderland.
forced. It feels
It's
really
got
forced.
it's got an Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter kind of thing to it. So if people want to do that kind of shit, I go for it. For the pet, I'm like you say mushroom set, and I automatically think, oh, you're automatically just gonna do a golem. I don't like the golem pets. Like I don't like the golem pets, especially now that since I know they're like these are cosmetic pet skins, not combat pet skins. So So because a lot of them look like they should be combat pets, and this one's just a mushroom golem. When you say mushroom's gonna automatically know you're gonna go with a mushroom golem person. I would prefer it if you did like something like more out there, like a mushroom animals, like fucking Parasect and Bulbasaur and other mushroom like mushroom type kind of like take inspiration for like the mushroom Pokemon kind of thing, or like other mushroom animals. Like a mushroom golem person's a little obvious for one, and number two,
How is it obvious?
you think a mushroom guy, Pat, you're not gonna automatically think, oh, it's gonna be a mushroom golem. Every game has a mushroom golem.
No.
every game has a mushroom golem. I've like fantasy place has mushroom people that you can think of. Like when you think like mushroom, like D&D, there's tons of mushroom people in there.
Yeah, but
we even seen walking mushrooms. Go ahead, Faisal.
It's not that. It's just the idea and the art design behind it. You don't just say it's like saying, okay, there's like a Kazam one fireball. How are they gonna be innovative with the fireball?
I agree with you. I just like, and I'm not saying that it looks like a bad mushroom person. Like I personally just don't like the golem pets. And number two, if you say mushroom, if like anywhere it says mushroom cosmetic, I automatically jump to, and I've seen the past cosmetics. I'm automatically going to jump to, it's going to be a mushroom golem as the pet. I would have preferred a different style, a different kind of pet, but it still looks good. I'm not saying it looks bad. I just personally don't like the golem pets. The mount, it's a furry horned frog. I'm actually kind of glad to see this because actually I don't know why I'm so glad this is. It looks good. I'm not judging the frog. It's a horned frog. The armor I like. I talk to other people that like, they don't like it, but I actually do like it. I'm with Stexon. I like the armor. It's very ranger. It has the tail trench coat thing. We've talked about it before. Me and Stexon both love the crap out of that. And then like the mushroom hood, like the mushroom umbrella thing, I actually do kind of think I adds a lot of character to the set. Like all the mushrooms add a character to this set. And then the caravan, it's a cool caravan. Like it's mushroom on top of the thing. House, probably my least favorite thing about the set because the normal ass house with a giant mushroom growing out of it. I like the giant mushroom is the character to the house. Everything else it's like it's not a house inside of a giant mushroom. It's not like a palace made to look like a mushroom. It's not like anything else mushroom related. It's a house with mushrooms growing out of it to the point where there's a giant mushroom off the roof.
Can I play the bad guy now?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. Top 2 reasons why I don't like the cosmetic sets. First we get into that. I have to say the cosmetics, the drawings look awesome as always. Right? So now, why do I not like these cosmetics? Number 1, mushrooms. There are freaking mushrooms everywhere. Mushroom NPCs, mushroom forest, underground has mushrooms. What's the deal with the giant mushrooms? Apparently now that there are cosmetic sets, so they don't have anything to do with the corruption. So that theory is out of the water. And it's just too much now. Like I understood like mushrooms on certain mounts, but now a full freaking mushroom cosmetic set. For me, it's for me personally, I think it's a bad idea. And the second reason why I think it's a bad idea, and this goes with the first one, is the top hat, right? I love the cosmetics. There are a lot of really good cosmetics within Ashes, but there's a handful of cosmetics where I literally say they are immersion breaking for me personally. Reason for that is a top hat reminds me of an era, where they had gunpowder and pew pew and all that.
You think top hat? You think industrial era?
Yeah, because when I see the top hat, I don't think Alice in the Wonderland. I don't know why people assume this is the Mad Hatter. because it's a top hat.
It
Right?
looks very Mad Hatter. Like the yes.
Why? Why does it look?
agree.
Why does it look Mad Hatter? Because it has mushrooms on it. Everything in Ashes has mushrooms on it.
I
It's
think the
messy.
colors
It's
kind of get it too.
yeah.
The pinks
the,
and
the, the,
What pinks?
the
There
color
are no
palette-
pinks in it.
the pink mushrooms.
The
There's
pink
The
mushrooms,
the
yeah.
normal red
Oh.
mushrooms. The
Yeah,
normal red
just
mushrooms.
how saturated the colors are.
It's
All right, whatever.
it's the color palette. It's the fact that it's a
Okay,
torn
okay.
old hat. it's got
Even
the
that,
mushrooms out of
even
it.
even more for me is immersion breaking. Same thing goes with the whole Corky outfit thing, like this like what's it called? Victoria? No, what's that age? What's that time period? Victorian
I
time
think
period.
Victorian era.
Yeah, like all that for me is like immersion breaking when it comes to fantasy, MMORPG where you have fire, swords, and magic. So, I get we need to have cosmetics, I get that, but, we have mushrooms around every corner. And our top hat, yes, it looks cool. I get why people will buy this. For me, it's just, it's immersion breaking. That's why for me, it's a hard pass. That's just my point of view. If you don't like it, sue me.
And now it's my turn.
Nobody cares.
I genuinely love all the cosmetics here. Like when you pay attention to details from the cart, you can see all the roots coming down the cart itself, which adds a lot of extra details, which I enjoy. I like the golem and how he's kind of like wearing a mushroom suit of armor as well, not just the golem in that sense. He's wearing shoulder pads, mushroom shoulder pads.
It's the only piece of armor that matters, right? The shoulder pad.
Only piece of
The house, I do agree with Yone in a sense of yes, it's like mushrooms basically going on a normal house, but that's kind of more of a realistic approach rather than being it's too fantasy oriented.
I agree with that.
Instead of making it like a mushroom house, like an actual mushroom, and you just live in it. This is like an overgrown mushroom, which makes sense to me. It's not even emergent break.
So-
I think it's a
You
nice
see,
design.
like from my point of view, if you would not have the mushroom armor, the mushroom Mad Hatter, and the mushroom carriage, you could you could argue that the mushroom growing into and out of the house would have something to do with corruption.
No, the mushrooms don't have anything to do with corruption.
I know.
that's
So
not-
what? Now I want to know. Now that that is even more clear that the mushrooms have nothing to do with the corruption. Now I want to know what's up with all the mushrooms.
Wait, was it ever a thing where where you thought mushrooms had to do with something with corruption?
By the amount of mushrooms that we've seen, yes. Like
Alright,
a
so
side effect or whatever, or it is
there are
that one world. Have you watched Sonic the Hedgehog?
yeah.
The movie at the end, a planet full of mushrooms. Maybe that is Vera. We will find what's his name, Jim Carrey, in Vera somewhere.
So
I mean, but to be
so-
fair, we haven't seen a lot of biomes BZG.
We've seen enough,
Like
and
they
all of
keep
them.
showing us the same biome.
I
we have-
know.
we
and-
have seen a mushroom biome, and that's where I'm assuming that most of these cosmetics take place in. So
Exactly.
my question for Faisal, is like, would you be okay with this? I think what I would more prefer over like this or a mushroom or a house inside a mushroom is maybe like a mushroom tree house. Like it's like a platform on like high. Like those mushrooms go high up. So like a platform up on top of the mushrooms, and like
Yeah.
so like
I mean,
maybe that using that canopy as a roof, maybe using the mushroom top as a roof, or like maybe not. Maybe it has its own like little roof thing, but like it's a mushroom tree house.
I don't misunderstand me. I do agree with you, but you're kind of doing a disservice by removing one to add the other. Why not just have both, and you have the option? You know what I mean?
I
Because
mean,
think the other one, judging by what we've seen in the mushroom forest, I think the other one, like the mushroom tree house, fits thematically more than this house.
I get your point because I kind of do agree with the mushroom treehouse, because that could match really well with the suits of armor that they're wearing, because they kind of look like scouts and rangers, and it could really work well as a like a
let me ask you something. Why do they look like scouts or rangers to you?
Because they're blending in with the forest. Duh.
They get the blend in with the forest thing. There's the like leather. Like, go ahead, Stackerson.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, what you said. Like it looks kind of leather. I mean, the chest plate looks metal, but the rest of it looks kind of leathery or mushroomy. I think the bow is also what some people think.
Yeah, because I was just going based on the text and mercenaries. I thought they're more like a vanguard sort
Kind
of.
of has a foresty look to it,
Yeah.
though, with the greens and the browns. So
I
that
think
kind of says ranger.
I think so. There's also like two types of rangers when people say ranger, like that people think of. So you have the ranger, like the RPG class ranger that everyone thinks of, like you, oh, you're using a bow. You probably have a pet, stuff like that. And then there's more the Lord of the Rings kind of ranger, to where it's more like profession. It's you're using swords. You're
Is it
like
more
it's
about
like
like living off the land, kind of, or
living
not?
off, more rugged, living off the land, going off the hunt, like you hunt things, but like you're also like you're more professional kind of thing, so you like with that mentality, you have the rangers from Lord of the Rings, you have the watch from
Game of Thrones,
Game of Thrones.
Sparta, 300.
Yeah.
You got a Corky. So like another thing, and I talked about this with a bunch of other people on another Discord. This now opens up the possibilities for so many other cosmetic sets that I would probably find really, really cringe. Because if we have complete mushroom sets, like what's like
Okay, well, give us some examples, because like that head is like a very defining feature of a mushroom. So I feel like it's not that crazy that they'd make a. It's a little, yeah, it's over the top, but I don't think it's that.
yeah, that's what I
crazy.
mean.
They'd make a
It's
set with
it's
that as a
over.
hat.
There are, like I said earlier, there are a few sets where I say these are immersion breaking for me, right? And then there are other ones they just fit in perfectly. And Rongo just said it, and I'm glad he said what he said, because I had like 3-4 people say the same thing, that they would not be surprised if you have some anime cat girl thing coming up next.
Okay, well, what in Vera makes you think an anime cat girl?
Nothing in Vera, nothing that we've seen so far made me think that we're gonna get a freaking mushroom cosmetic
We've
set.
seen
We've seen
mushroom
mushrooms.
biomes.
So
Yes,
like,
we've
What do
seen
you mean?
mushrooms. So what? Okay, we've seen mushrooms, right? We've
Yes.
seen trees, rocks. I don't know. We've seen horses.
Like
people are gonna live in that mushroom
BCG,
biome.
I
though.
genuinely don't understand your point. I don't see how it's immersion breaking. I genuinely don't. It's in the environment. The environment.
Okay, so why? Okay, why? Okay, so
so
why have we? Okay, if it's in the environment, and that is a reason for you to think that this is not immersion breaking to have a full freaking cosmetic set made out of freaking mushrooms, then why
Yes.
don't we? Why don't we? As soon as they bring out, I don't know, why don't we have like a complete palm tree set with the coconuts, or
because palm trees aren't as
You
strong
have
defensively as
They
mushrooms.
can
Oh,
if
you
they
can-
want
you
to.
can-
I
you-
don't
you
want
have
to.
you have like the whole Nakua sets, which I assume will probably
Yeah,
have
but
palm
they're
trees.
race themed. That's something different.
This
I
is
would-
an environment thing. You have racial themes and you have environmental themes. Like
Okay,
this
give
is
me
an
me another
environmental theme.
give me another environmental theme where this fits in.
Where this one fits in, it only fits
Yes.
in because there's a mushroom. There's a mushroom.
No, I mean like
forest
another
biome.
one that
It's-
would fit this
I feel
category.
like you're trying to do too much with. So like, I think the mushroom top is like a very defining feature of the mushroom. I don't know if having someone wear like a palm tree's top on their head with all the things equates to the same as wearing a mushroom top on your head.
What about an armor set completely made out of what about an armor set completely made out of coconuts?
That would be dope.
You have,
I'm
you
not
have the
gonna lie.
coconut. You could do the coconut bra thing, like the palm
Did you
leaves.
really just say
skirt.
dope face, or did you really just say dope?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad cosmetic, but it looks really cool. I'm just saying from an immersion point, it's a little bit over the top and it feels really forced. Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. People like it. People been liking it. I'm just saying for me personally, it's a little bit immersion breaking. If I see somebody running around that looks like a mushroom.
Everything other than the top hat, I disagree with you. Like everything here, like if you're gonna like, granted, I'm not sold on the house with the mushroom growing through it.
No,
Thing for
like the house with the mushroom, for me personally, like, okay, so the house with the mushroom is fine. It can be some, like you have trees growing through houses. That is fine. For me, it's more of the mushroom top hat, right? And the mushroom armor. And the armor itself is fine. It's just the top mushroom thing. That just feels forced. If it would be just the rest of the armor, the green hood, no mushroom top, I think I would be fine. Like how is that like working? How does this grow on the hood? Is this not like really heavy? Like I said, it's an immersion breaking thing. It's not a bad thing. Just for me personally, it's immersion breaking. Same thing with the Corky, with the cape and whatever, and the Queen Victoria outfits. It's an immersion thing.
So with the
it has nothing to do with logic. It's just immersion breaking.
With the Queen Victoria one, that's more of an RP set, and I'm not a big fan of the RP sets. Like I'm not.
This for me is an RP set.
I don't see it. No, this one you can definitely see people.
This is like the set I'm going to be using at the moment.
I so hate you right now.
No, I'm not actually joking. I really like this set and want to at least be using it a decent portion of the time.
Faisal, you're gonna change my mind. It's freaking.
What do you mean?
It's a mushroom set. It's a mushroom set. It's
what are you saying, Faisal? Hold up. People have been talking over Faisal for a bit. What are you saying, Faisal?
What I'm trying to say is basically BCG is saying that if I see a dude that's wearing the mushroom set armor and walks around, it's immersion breaking for him.
Yes.
But seeing a dude that wears like an full ice armor or a lava armor, that's completely not immersion.
I didn't say that.
There are other
I said there's a handful of sets, which I know which one you're talking about. That is also part of it, right? That for me are immersion breaking.
There are other environmental sets.
Yes. I'm not saying it's a bad set. It looks good. I'm just saying from an immersion standpoint, from a game that is heavily focused on fantasy and immersion, now bringing out such sets for me is somehow immersion breaking. It goes in the same bucket as Stackerson. Not Stackerson, Stufferton, sorry. It's not saying it's a bad thing. Jesus, stop getting on me. Jesus. Yeah, exactly. Those two sets for me as well are a little bit immersion breaking, but that's just my personal taste. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. Like the Jon Snow thing, same thing.
It'll be nice once we actually see them in game.
Like I bought, like for example,
they'll blend into the game a little bit more once you actually see people running around with them.
Listen, I bought the frog mount and I bought the pet. Okay, you happy now?
I will agree. I will agree that we get like that. Like there are too many mushrooms in the game, right? Like there's too many. There's mushrooms everywhere. Like even in like non-mushroom themed sets, there's mushrooms.
Exactly.
And
That's another thing.
We see a lot of glowing mushrooms in the Underrealm. There's mushroom enemies that we've seen. There's the entire mushroom biome. We've seen a lot of mushrooms. We haven't seen them recently, and like this is the most mushroom thing we've seen in a while.
No, we just see like a couple months ago on another cosmetic set a bunch of mushrooms.
We saw some. We saw some mushrooms on the swamp orc set.
Swamp orc set, and the one where we thought it's a necromancer, but it was a druid, the black blue one.
That was all.
Didn't that also have
shit?
Didn't it also have mushrooms?
No, not that I can see on it. I mean, there's mushrooms on the hat. There's like that little tree. Like there's mushrooms that grow on the side of trees on the hat. The witch hat.
Yeah. So like there's this over recurring thing that there's a lot of mushrooms within Ashes, and I still want to know what's up with all the mushrooms. Why not roses or sunflowers? Why mushrooms?
It probably has to do with just. I don't know. I guess I don't see.
I'm not trying to be a pain in the ass, be toxic or negative right now.
Yeah. So like with the Underrealm, I'm not even gonna bring up the Underrealm right now. With the entire mushroom biome, I don't know the story behind it. It's not like out of the realm of other fantasy stories though. Like it's not like I've seen other mushroom forest
I just always thought that the mushrooms are somehow a side effect of the corruption.
I never got that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was the only one.
But yeah. Should
But
we move
I
on?
mean, I guess
yeah.
like
Okay,
I guess I could think why you would think that way, because at the very beginning we only saw mushrooms in the underrealm, and we assumed with the underrealm it's tied with the corruption. So I could see
I
that.
always thought this was always my theory. The corruption, everybody escaped to the underrealm because of the corruption, and then over the decades, some of the corruption, through the ground sealed into the underrealm. That's why you had like whatever the corruption was because it went through the ground, it got purified, and then ended up as some sort of life force, and that became the mushrooms. And
the
then,
essence. So like all the corruption is corrupted essence. Like that's literally what it is. Like,
yeah, exactly.
uh,
Then it corrupted essence, and then
you have
because it traveled,
essence.
because
Well, the essence comes from the ground. So like the reason you see glowing mushrooms in the underrealm is because the mushrooms have been feeding off the essence.
okay,
The
so
deeper into the earth you get, the closer to the essence you
can
get.
we just agree on the fact that we need to know what's up with all the mushrooms?
Disagree or agree?
Can we agree on that? That is like the most burning question that somebody should ask. What's up with all the mushrooms? Okay, next topic. I've been negative too long. Next topic.
So we talked about Steven Links. If you want to do another news topic, there's the dev discussion number 23, 29, mentoring.
What else do we have? Let me check.
Theory crafty topics. We have MMORPG Holy Trinity in open world PvP games. Is it still like a surviving thing? Is it going to be able to survive the future? Is it going to be like, is it still a thing?
Let's
Does it
talk about the death penalty thing.
death penalty? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
So for a while now, and like it's been a forum topic for a long time now. Same as consensual PvP, blah blah. People worry that the death penalty is too harsh. Intrepid stance has always been like they've listed off the death penalties they're aiming for right now, and they're going to, if they need to, they'll tweak the numbers during testing. But right now you have death penalties like when you die, you gain negative XP, and you're gonna have to gain back that negative XP before you can start leveling up again. When you die, you lose some of the materials, some of the raw materials you're holding on you. So if you die, it's like if you die, you lose your raw materials. If you're corrupted and you die, you, depending on the level of corruption you have, you could lose your actual actual inventory. Also, if you die just on a base character, you're gonna have durability loss in your armor and gear and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think it's too high. I think it's too low, to be honest.
Yeah. Nothing I've heard about nothing I've seen or heard from the devs about like that, how they're planning to do death penalties is too extreme. But I also play survival games a hell of a lot, and like I read a bunch of manga and manhwa about I'm super big into the fucking isekais. So
What's isekai? Sorry,
isekais trapped
I don't speak that language, so sorry. You need to translate.
Isekai's a genre. It's trapped in another world. Most of them nowadays have been. Oh, I'm teleported to my favorite video game. That's been like that's been a thing. Or reincarnated teleport. Like the genre itself is stuck in another world.
Wait, so like, what's the one? What's the one that you guys are all so excited about? What's the name?
Sword Art Online.
Thank you, that one. Like that?
That's an isekai.
Yes, that would be kind of considered one.
Okay, whatever.
I disagree with the ones to where like.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about fucking anime now. Let's get back to the fucking. Okay, so here's my point of view, right? People saying that the death penalties are too high. I disagree. I think they're too low because of one specific reason. Steven stated really clearly on, and I don't know if his point changed on that yet. I really hope it will never change. That he does not want his game to be a PKing, ganking murder box.
This isn't just like
There
death
is
penalty. This is death penalties for everybody. This isn't just like so like.
no,
people
yeah,
are-
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. There are enough. First off, there's enough ways for you to PvP without getting corrupted. If you say there's not enough ways for you to PvP without getting corrupted, go play Tekken Tech tournament.
I
Also,
agree
the game is designed for you to make choices. It does not force you into PvP. So if you wanna, you know, take your caravan from A to B, be aware of your choice, and yes, you might run into some PvP, and yes, you might lose some resources.
That's a
If you
your
keep,
argument. Okay. Go ahead.
if you always keep all your resources on you, then it's your own goddamn fault.
Well, no one's going to do
This is
that.
true.
You bank your resources. It's how you play a game like
Yeah.
this. This is
Your argument, I agree with it, but I also feel like you're arguing more for the defense of the corruption system. When that's not what we're talking about death penalty. And most of the death penalties guys listed off are for green. Like if you get killed by a red player, you get killed by a red player, and you're still a green player, you're still gonna gain the XP debt. You're still gonna drop your gathered resources, durability loss on your equipment. All that stuff is still, even if you choose not to PvP, but you still get killed.
I know, but here's the thing. This game is built around player choices and risk and reward.
I would say
If you take
risk and reward is the argument I would.
yeah, if you take away the risk factor, then people will play a lot differently, and it will somehow break the game. So, from my point of view, you do need the risk and reward thing. You need to have a sort of risk with whatever you do. That is what is gonna keep Ashes being pushed forward. That's gonna make people band together and work together. If you can just run from A to B without losing anything, no risk, but you still get the reward, and then you're gonna run into something like, I don't know, World of Warcraft.
I think Yoni is just talking about the balancing issue.
I mean that's what I'm talking about, and I don't see there being a balancing issue. You
It's not-
lose.
I mean, it's hard to talk about any of this without like really having the numbers.
I mean,
Just because there's XP debt doesn't mean it's too harsh. If it's you spend an hour farming back after one death, that might be too harsh. But if it's like 2 kills and you're done, I think people will be like, okay, well maybe that's a little too simple. So it's like, I guess it's one of those things.
Everything we're listing right now are the things that I would use to defend the fact that we're all in agreement. It's possibly it's too lenient, the death penalty system, and it is
the other
right now.
thing is it's subjective.
Right now,
it's some people like harder things and some people want easier things. Like there's people who just want to.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right now. And that's what's on the forums is people are saying that it's like you have too many. Like people think that some people think there's too many death penalties right now. It's not like there's it's not like it's not like numbers thing, because that's all balancing that's going to go through testing. It's literally
just too many things happen.
Too many things happen when you die. That's from people's opinions right now.
I don't think it's too many things happen. That like you get an XP thing, which is fine.
XP death.
Yeah, all right, XP death. You don't lose XP. You just you have a debt that you have to pay back.
You accrue
when you're a non-combatant, you lose more than a combatant, so it makes sense for you to always fight back. And if you're a giant douchebag that PKs people all the time, you're gonna get your ass kicked one way or another. So the game encourages you to fight back, to limit the risk that you have to undertake while doing anything.
And I guess an argument I want to say for all of them is they kind of all do different things. You got the I think the experience debt part that needs to exist, just because you don't want people just taking off all their gear and running to a location not caring about death. Like you still have to care about death, and that encourages you to actually take your gear, take your take your consumables, and do things properly. There's no easy way across. And then there's the gear on death. That's a further penalty that also interacts with the economy and creates sinks for resources, which I think is good. So people have reasons to continue to farm, and then you have the last part is the resource drop on death, which that's very situational. That is if you have raw resources, and that's almost works more as an incentive. To me, it works almost more as an incentive to PvP. It's you can, and also a reason to not get killed in PvP. You have and to fight back is you have a reason. You can take some of their resources if you kill them, and I don't think taking like a portion of your resources is harsh.
I'm used to like full loot PvP. Like it's
No,
like
full
it's,
loot
it's
is-
not
it's
it's
no
not
matter
too harsh.
Yeah, no matter what, when you go out, you're probably going to be coming back positive. It's not like a full loot PvP game where you go out and you risk dying and you're at a negative if you come back after that, because if you die, you lose you, sometimes your gear, if not everything you farmed. Um, in this case, you're just coming back with less resources because you died in PvP. So it was less profitable, but it was still profitable.
Let me add this because I was talking about this earlier. The current death penalty system for me is a huge bonus when it comes to immersion. So I don't see it as being too hard. I think it's still rather soft. Like the difference between combatant and non-combatant. If I would be in charge, I would have the same. I would add the non-combatant death penalty to the combatant one.
Coming from BDO, I really liked the incentive to fight back. If anything, I would want the resource drops kind of shoveled, but I've talked about that in the past, and we don't need to go on that tangent. But yeah, I don't know. I like having that incentive for people to fight back, so people aren't encouraged to just karma bomb. There's more of a reason for you. I mean, them killing you as a non-combatant, that's a huge hurt to them. But having that extra incentive that, if you fight back and you do pull it up and you don't quite pull it off, you still are suffering less of a penalty. It's not there's more. I like that extra reason to fight back. Else it's just like if you get jumped, you might as well just never fight back. Or there's a lot less reason to.
Faisal, what do you think, Faisal? You're quiet there with your blanket and your what's that Death Note figurine in the back.
I don't know. Like again, it's very hard to say without numbers at the very end of the day.
I think what we're talking about is not necessarily the numbers, just the number of things that happen when you die. Some people think that's just too many things.
Two things happen. What's the big deal?
Three things happen.
Three. Yeah, technically three.
You get penalty of XP. You get some of your items drop with it.
No, only if you're fully corrupted.
Material that is.
No. Raw resources will drop even if you're not corrupted.
All of it, or
no, some of them.
Only percentage. Only percentage of your raw resources will drop.
What else? What's the third thing?
Durability loss.
Hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so durability loss you have in any MMORPG when you die. That I wouldn't even consider that.
I think it should be considered because repairing your gear at some point does require raw resources. It's not just a gold sink. I don't know where we're at with it right now, but because in the past I think it was you could repair your gear with gold, but if it broke, that's when you had to repair it with raw resources. You couldn't just gold sink.
You still have to repair it with raw resources, even without it breaking. You still have to repair it with raw resources. Like that's an incentive to keep farming resources, and an incentive to to the community thing of the processors, the gatherers, and the crafters. It's always a thing that's always present, and eventually your items will break. And you're gonna have two durability bars. You're gonna a permanent durability bar and a temporary durability bar. When you repair your thing, your permanent one goes down a little bit, so you have to repair it more frequently to the point where it's just craft a new weapon. And so like crafting's always present in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can. I mean, if the durability drops by a lot, but not to the point of it being broken, I think it's fine considerably. Because I mean, a person died.
In the past, there was some mention of a mechanic where it had to do with how much you got overkilled by. I don't know if that's still a thing, but it was like I imagine if it was like a boss like smashed you, you're gonna take a huge durability hit. But if it's like you're a newbie and you're farming a little goblin, the goblin's not gonna do much damage to you.
All right, so let's.
guess.
Okay, so my point is my stance on the whole thing is the death penalties are fine. They can be even harder. So that's my whole point. What do you guys think? What's your final word?
I think they're fine as currently as they are.
All right.
It's just a mix of numbers. That's all that's going to end up.
Yoni, what about you?
I agree. Like it's a numbers like currently the ones right now it's a numbers game, and I agree with you. It could even they could even go a little bit more harsher, like add a few more death penalties on there.
All right, Stackerson?
I think I'm good with where we're at. Like it's one of those things where it kind of comes down to numbers. I kind of want to see where it is and how people feel about it as we start playing with it.
All right.
So
okay, so I think that's it for today. We have a little announcement for those of you that are listening. Little quick backstory. I started doing this podcast in 2017. May 2017 was the very first episode, and over the years Yoni, Staggerson, Faisal, they joined me, and we are now the longest running podcast for Ashes of Creation. The idea behind the podcast has always been, what did you say, Faisal?
I said nice.
Nice. Okay, I thought you said no for some reason. I'll be like, what? Anyways, the idea behind the podcast was, as you can tell, we're not professionals. We don't do professional podcasts. We're just a bunch of gamers and we just talk. We like to talk about Ashes of Creation. And over the years, something has changed within the Ashes of Creation community, which would be the voice chats for Ashes of Creation. The voice chats on the official Ashes of Creation Discord used to be full at all times. You always had people in there talking, and over the last extremely active, and over the last 2 years, it kind of died down to a hold. So after talking it over with the boys, we decided to try something for the next couple months and see how it goes. Now every time we do one of these podcasts, every time we talk about games related to Ashes, stuff regarding Ashes of Creation, we will take some time after we're done with the podcast, and we will do something that we decided to call the Ashes of Creation discussion around after hour on the official Ashes of Creation Discord. So we're just gonna jump into the voice chats on the official Discord, and we're just gonna keep on talking Ashes. If you want to join in, if you want to tell us how stupid we are, or if you disagree with us, feel free to do so. We're happy to talk to you. And I hope to see you guys there. And we hope that this somehow, maybe restarts an active voice chat community within the Ashes of Creation community. Because it's always nice to see people talk about Ashes. So, yeah. In any case, if you guys don't decide to join us, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you guys later. Peace. Where's the off button again?